Yesterday I wrote that the first trade has to be a winner, and it was, because I scratched it for a tick. Uh, what typically happens is my first trades are losers, so that's why that was important. And we're forming a balance area here between 43.75 and 42.50. The auction shifts upward from 43.25 to 44 evens, which is bullish, and I get long on the breakout on buyers holding the upper prices. And then I only take it for a tick, even though there is a breakout, because if the first trade is a loser, that's bad, and I don't want that to happen, obviously. So I'd rather just take the tick. You're not supposed to do that. You're just supposed to watch the flow. But in this case, that's what I did. 128, 45, 25, right? So we bump into the LVN now. This looks like, and sellers couldn't even populate the tape. This looks like sellers getting out into the LVN, and buyers are willing to hold higher prices there. So I get long again and take it for a couple ticks, and then we fill out this distribution, and I get whipsawed. First mistake I make is making the predictive um, decision to trade to the downside off of this value area from the sell pressure between 46.75 and 47.25. What that means is, um, I want to see if that, yeah, it was. So there was a distribution there. What that means is I was effectively looking for a unidirectional move off of the three ticks within this balance area here. And I got whipsawed, and then I flipped into the same thing rather than just playing the reversion. I want to see what it took me to get in. Yeah, so I should have gotten out there rather than adjusting the stop and watching the flow. But that's mainly from a capital preservation perspective. It's better just to watch the order flow in this case, which is what I did. And then I flip long, 47.50, 47.75. There's 44 in the queue at 47.25, and there's buying on the inside prints. 30, 23, 20. So far it looks good. I'm watching 48 because sellers were unable to fill that print. And then we hold 47 evens before breaking down. Now here, um, where the tape stops and it looks like sellers, they don't dry up, they get absorbed. That would be an ideal place for a long in hindsight, because I knew it ran off of 46.50. So we hold it multiple times and then rally to the upside. And then, uh, so I effectively botched. So I botched this play, this distribution play, by fading the break, by fading the return twice. The tape from here to here was a breakout. We consolidated value, came down to 46.25 before buyers stepped in and rallied it higher. And then when I recognized that we were going to the other LVN here and that there were orders there, I think I got long and scratched out at the orders. Maybe I would have botched it. I think I did botch one of the trades. But observing trading and actually trading is two different things, and it's not as easy to trade and also know what you're doing. It's almost like multitasking. Whereas when you watch, it's easy to take notes. So I got long on exactly what's happening here. Is I bought the top, and the tape is filling out on the buy side, and sellers can't keep up. So this is a one directional move, and I'm really just watching the tape here. And if the Q removes, see how it went from 60 to 30? That means sellers are giving it up. But then they hit it again there. They restacked, and buyers ran out. So that would be a good place to scratch. And then 129 trades, it's absorbed at 48.75, and they move lower. So the breakout trade I was looking for was effectively stopped when it went from 30 to 60, and then sellers stepped in. And now I'm left bag holding. I think this goes all the way to my stop. Yes. And we consolidate at the high, 48 and 47.75 before we push it again. Now here I think I remember being demotivated. And we come back into this distribution at the low, 46.50, before breaking down, and I clear the prints. Now we're back into this LVN, and I'm trying this reversion trade back up to 46.75, which actually kicks off, so I have to watch how it happened. That trade comes from that trade comes from this. That's what this trade was. But for me to trade that, you have to watch the inside prints, and probably the shifting of the Q as well. It's statistically anomalous that I didn't get ran over there. I thought that was going to be a loser. So we stop at 44.75. 45.25. Okay, the jump in three ticks from 45 to 45.50 would be a good place to get long. They probably wouldn't fill me there. And then the participation from buyers and the actual movement on the tape, meaning they weren't just trading 19 and 28 and getting absorbed. Four trades at 45.25, and then four again. So this looks like it's just the tape from a buy perspective is just easy to move. I say that, and then 31 is absorbed at 45.50. But they're holding 45.25, and there's an absence of sellers here and the presence of buyers. And then we've now ticked up four ticks in my favor off of 45 evens, and we're in an LVN, so it's probable that we go back to 47. And then boom, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm watching the queue here. I think I am. We have that explosion in tape, which is probably from sellers getting out. We're back in the distribution now, filling out a balance area. Notice how the distribution thickens up on this side, which is bullish. Because the distribution thickened up along at 46.75 would be good. We stopped in the LVN 46 evens and held it. short on the continuation from inside prints, which I agree with. Strong sell pressure. McGrady's, John Grady's Hello McFly, which is just, if they're selling, just join them, especially in the low volume nodes, which is where we are. But then they scratch me out and I flip. I think I closed that trade too early. Then tape stops at 46.75 when it should have rounded out the other side of the distribution, which tells me we're consolidating to the low side. I agree with this trade. I like it. The sell pressure. And then I get out. Why do I get out? Notice how there's 27 traded at 43.75 and nothing on the bid. That leads me to believe we're going lower. I'm looking for the Q to empty at 43.75 on the buy side. We don't do that and are now consolidating under 44.25. And we rally off of it. I want to see why I closed that trade. I got short because of momentum. We're going to watch the whole thing play out. The Q is emptying. Goes from 60 to 20, 60 to 20 again. 14. Big pressure from sellers. They hit into the ask 36 and it reloads from 40 to 30. And it's still kind of thickening up on the ask. $36, $13. Then 52 trades, 41 trades. So the sell pressure shows up again. And we're down to 43.75, which is the end of the low volume node. And we see some response from buyers. And they easily pull it up on what looks like a little bit of volume on the inside prints, which tells me there's buy strength there. Good scratch. Rallied from 44 back to 46. Uh, and a sound flip short. Kind of a coin toss. Couldn't get above 46.50. Was there any buy pressure? Yeah, there was. And then it tapered off. But then see how they hold it there? And see how they hold it there just for a longer period of time, and I decide, okay, it's time to get out, especially when they get above 46.50. I wish I could say, look at X on the tape, and that was my reason for entry, but I'm simply not there yet. Back to 46, so that would be I took a continuation short. That's interesting because I was going to say good place for long. 45.75. I wanted 44.25, obviously. See how was that bid always there? No. Okay. We have a a strong jump down from sellers. I think it's people exiting their positions. And then 44.75, there's a bid, 40. It stacks to 90, right? It holds the market up, and nobody is willing to trade at it. See how it's not depleting and there's nothing on the inside prints. And then off of that, 18 trades at 45, so sellers aren't willing to hit the 80. So it holds the market up. And I'm hanging on to my trade, and I'm too afraid to realize it. So I eventually take this for a loss, meaning I let it run. I let it run like I let it run three ticks in my favor, and it goes against me. And then I bid long here. Go upticking should be 2 to 3 ticks, not fourth to signal aggression. That's a lot of my that's a lot of the issues my trades are having. So look, here's a long tape stopping, and we have maybe one tick instead of two, and then we go in the opposite direction. I want to see if you can. Never mind. Okay, doesn't matter. And then I take the same continuation trades to the downside in the low volume nodes. which are appear to be my bread and butter for now. And I flip long on just the slow grind, which I disagree with. I think I got whipsawed. Yes, I did. And then I flip short back into the value area. See how tape is still printing there? 37, 18. We're in an LVN now. I wasn't paying attention to the profile, just to the tape. 42, and then I get out. Yeah, and then tape gets too fast to read here, which is why I stop. Notice how it's towards the end, it jumps like this. I can try my best to watch the queue and the flow, but if it's jumping 10 ticks, even if I make money, it's non-replicable. It's not replicable in the future because I can't read the order flow.